Ray, a member of the educated, urban elite, you probably consider inequality a terrible thing and see yourself as someone fighting against it. But in a new book, George Mason University economist Tyler Cowen describes how the forces that have benefited highly skilled and educated people in past decades are the same ones that have held others down. In The Complacent Class, Cowen, who runs the popular blog Marginal Revolution, argues that a new kind of cultural segregation has become the norm in American life, benefiting a select class and leaving many more people simply stuck. The U.S. population has sorted out not only along political lines, but also by education, race, income, social status and even technological ability. Along the way, the country has become more polarized, less dynamic and less fair. Cowen argues that the educated urban elite, who are well equipped to compete in today's economy, have become increasingly isolated from other parts of the country, and so on. To see the urgency with which the country needs reform to help those left behind, while people on the top have little motivation to change, he believes they may be forced to, as others grow increasingly disgruntled. I spoke with Cowen in December about the book, which was released Tuesday. This interview has been edited for length and clarity. In the book, you discuss how new matching technologies are helping to make the world a more enjoyable place. For example, websites and apps that help people find better jobs and more suitable mates. We think of these technologies as a good thing, but you point out they have a dark side, including contributing to growing segregation and inequality. How does that work? I think of matching and segregation as two sides of the same coin. On the positive side, so many of the gains in our well-being over the last 20 years have come from better matching, rather than traditional forms of economic growth. These days, if I buy music, I know in advance I like it. In the old days, you would buy an album, and you might not like most of the songs. Or if you look at couples, their ability to find a compatible partner is much greater because of the internet. People who are good at using matching technologies are really much better off, but there are two downsides. One is many people don't have these technologies or use them well, because of the digital divide. Secondly, matching is also a kind of segregation. People who are of the same political views, the same education, same cultural tastes, similar income levels, they are much more likely to be living together than before. It has very real benefits for some people, but in my opinion it is not overall a good thing. This came up as an issue in the election. You say the upper class has become much more concentrated geographically. How did that occur? People of high socioeconomic status and particular political views are much more likely these days to be matched into parts of New York, California, Washington, D.C., and a group of smaller but high-status towns, like Ann Arbor, Santa Barbara, and so on. This means those people are actually somewhat insulated from the real America. When you run that experiment in politics, all of a sudden it's possible to get this big divergence between the popular vote, which went for Hillary Clinton, and the Electoral College vote, which went solidly for Donald Trump. What does the decline in people's willingness or ability to move around the country have to do with how dynamic the American economy is? Moving around less makes our worldviews more static, it makes our economy more static, and it makes our labor market slower to recover after a recession. If you compare today to the period between 19,481,971, there's about 50% less movement across states. People find somewhere they really like and they stay, which is a good thing, but it does mean a loss of dynamism. Some of the lack of mobility is due to high rents in cities, which